Resilient Rises, a beautiful, beautiful Friday night to you. I hope you guys are doing amazing and having an amazing Friday so far. I am going to implore each of you out there to be safe. And I know probably if you're not going to go out and enjoy the weekend, if you're going to go out and enjoy the weekend, you know you're going to drive or whatever, just take your time and be safe, okay? Call a Uber if you need to, call a taxi. But welcome to Poetry and Perspective with Placid. I am your kind hostess, Cindy Placid. Listen, guys, this past couple of days have been so amazing. It's like the more you learn, the more you learn. And you become more aware of so many different things in life, so many situations that people are going through. And it can shape you, it can have an impact on you, okay? But I've learned a lot this past couple of weeks. This whole in fact, since I started the show, this show has been so impactful to my life personally. But these past few weeks have been amazing. Okay, but before I continue with my introduction, let me just make sure that my Facebook family is seeing me. Okay, um, give me 1 second, not 1 second, 1 minute. Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm sorry. Yes, guys. So it has been absolutely amazing, amazing poetry and perspective placid. People have taught me a lot. Their resilience, their courage, their strength, so much. And I know maybe tonight this is not where you desire to be on my live and whatnot and so on the other. But I'd appreciate if you would stay with me, okay? I am your kind hostess, Cindy Placid. I am from beautiful Caribbean island of St. Lucia. For those of you who do not know, I love people. I am an author. I am a poet. I'm an advocate, and I also do entrepreneurship. Okay, so I have written 3 books. My first book is entitled "When Life Stood in Silence," and my book that book was of course born from grief, loss, and so many other things. My second book is entitled "A Mighty Calm." Let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. My second book is entitled a Mighty Calm. A Mighty Calm has was the up. It was basically an uplifting from the first book, and the third book is What the Skies Told Me. I'm trying to find the slide, guys, and I don't. Hey, I cannot find it. Let me see. You're giving me all the things that I don't want to see. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to show you my books. Yes. So this is my first book. My first book is entitled When I Stood in Silence. And of course, this is an amazing, amazing book. Um, some very deep, my friend would say, some very deep nuggets in this book. Okay. And guys, if you have not heard any of my poems, if you have not experienced any of my books, I urge you to go on my website, cindyplacid.com, to purchase one of my books because this book is for everybody. Anybody who's going through anything can and will benefit from that book. So I urge you guys to go and at least go and purchase one of my books. Okay, at least if you can purchase all 3 of them, you will get a glimpse of who Cindy Placid is. Okay, so purchase my books. My second book is A Mighty Calm, of course, and this is my third book, What the Skies Told Me. And that book is just like, I really love that book. I have not really delved into it, but it is a book of reflection, and like I said, people, everybody, somebody will benefit from my book. Okay, so why didn't my Facebook come on? to see who's there with me. Oh, okay, there we go. All right. I did something that was not cool. Okay. All right. So who do we have with us? Oh my gosh, what is going on with my phone? I do not want that wahala today. I don't want that wahala. I don't like it when I have wahala, people. I don't like wahala. You know, wahala is confusion. The okay, so let me try that one more time. Oh, it's giving me the same darn thing. It's giving me the same darn thing. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone for a minute. I cannot see who's there. But good night, everyone, to Poetry and Perspective. Welcome to Poetry and Perspective with Placide. Listen, guys. This month we have talked about autism. We have had inspiring father. We have had inspiring mom. We have had a first class army sergeant first class, who gave us a story, who shared her experience with us. That was very no, be quiet. That was very inspiring. That's my autistic son. You know, he's always in the background doing his thing. And sometimes when we are going through stuff, we are going through our challenges and our experiences, and we feel alone. I want you to I want you to take a moment. If anytime you feel alone, go back to one of my lives. Anything you could think of, maybe dementia, or you could think of seizures, could think of somebody who has been shot, somebody who's going through depression, somebody who has had a death in the family. Anytime you feel alone, I want you to go back to my live, to my videos, and look for something. Just put the word in, and it's going to show you my videos, and see which live podcast is going to inspire you. There's somebody's story out there who is going to inspire you. I promise you. And I have interviewed a lot of people on this live, a lot of people. And their stories touch my life. It makes me understand that we are not alone in our struggles. We may be facing the situations differently, but we are still we're still struggling from day to day. Life throws us the worst things you could think of. Yes, noise in the background. But while I'm waiting for my guest to arrive on the show, I would like to give a shout out to a few people. First of all, I would say Modest Glam Martha. I want to say welcome. You are always showing up on Poetry and Perspective with Placide, and I appreciate you. Appreciate your support. You have been constantly supporting me, and I truly thank you for being here and always giving me your feedback and your input, and the viewers can learn from your questions and your comments. So thank you so much. Okay, so now listen, if you all have not seen Martha, Modest Glam Martha, go on her page. I'm going to put her name up here. She said thanks. She said hi, Cindy. I'm going to show her, right? Modest Glam Martha. Go on her Facebook page. She'd be having some very encouraging lives, and she'd be working out. So support her. Give her stars, because we all need to support each other. That's how we grow. That's how we show our appreciation to people. So go and support her. Okay? Yes. So do that for me, please, and I would appreciate it. Also, I don't even know where I am. Okay. So there we go. So yes, and of course there's another person I would like to recognize. Okay, there are people out there who are always over there in the back burner. They always support me, and there are people I would like to recognize. There is this friend of mine. He is from Jamaica, and he has been like a backbone for me. He will call me when he sees that my makeup is not looking right. He will call me if I'm having a bad day, I'm not looking good to my viewers. He would call me and say, "Listen, Cindy, you are you need to look good." Okay, You need to look good. And so I would like to give a shout out to Mr. Rupert Thompson, better known as Rupy T, or the Blender. And let me see if I can show his slide up here. He has always been supporting me no matter what. Even if I'm having a bad day and I call this man, I said, listen, I'm having a bad day. We will stay on the phone for about an hour or so and we are going to chat. So this is my really, really good friend. Let me see if I can share my screen on my way for my guest. And he is just an amazing person. Okay, and let me see if I can present here share my screen to see if I can show you my good friend. Yes. Okay. Yes, his name is Mr. Rupy T, or the Blender, and he has his own radio station. He has interviewed me a few times, maybe 3 times, and we're getting ready to have another interview coming soon. And that interview is going to be really, really powerful as well. He's a professional in his field. He's on Radio Block Mondays, Wednesdays, Mondays to Wednesdays at 8 to 10 p.m. He also has his own let me see. He also have Viscosity Blend, which is his prime radio station. He's been in the broadcasting business for over 40 years. So Mr. Rupy T knows exactly what he is doing. So there he is, there's his picture. So I kindly ask you guys to give him some support. Look for Viscosity Blend and you're going to see viscosityblend.com. So please support my friend, because he has always been supporting me. His station is all around the world, in England, in the UK, in Florida. He's based in New Jersey. So give Mr. Rupy T some love and go out there and listen to his radio station and subscribe to his channel. Share his station, because he has, like I said, has been in the business for years and he has always supported everybody. He has brought some really great artists on the show, interviewed them. So I urge you to go support Mr. Rupy T, the Blender, on Viscosity Blend and Roadblock Radio. Okay, so now back to my life. All right, so guys, I'm so excited today. Okay, I have this amazing guest on my show today. And for those of you who do not know, okay, you're going to find out who he is to me. Very dear to me, okay? So let me see. So let me bring him on. He was running late, but he's here nonetheless. So please welcome. He is the manager and owner of Managed Mobility. Not Management. What is that? Mobility Express. You know why I'm saying management? Because there was a service like that up here that has the same name. Management. Yeah. So let me go. Hi guys. Hi brother.
Hi guys.
This is my eldest brother, Nixon Benoit, and he is the owner of Mobility Express in St. Lucia. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm okay. I'm all right. It's such an honor and a privilege to be here with you this evening. For a number of years now, I always follow what you do, and then I've never had an opportunity to actually be on your show. And then it's an honor and privilege tonight to be here with you. I can see how excited you are. So am I. And then yeah, it's good. It's really good. It's a good feeling, a good vibe. Yeah, thank you.
I'm staying quiet because I don't want to cry.
Don't be.
Because guys, listen, I have not seen my brother in years. And that's the closest we get to seeing each other either on WhatsApp or right here on this live. He's a very busy person. So my brother, how was your day?
Like you just mentioned, busy is always busy. What we do is very salient and very much in need. Therefore, your day starts early in the morning and ends late evening. As a matter of fact, I had to take a pause to be able to be here with you tonight. So it is intense. And then since what we do is so important and so relevant, it takes up your entire day. So Monday to Monday, really.
I
But
understand.
when you love what you do, it's more than a job,
There you
and
go.
the contribution that you make to other people's lives makes it worthy. So
I
that's where your little rewards come. Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better. But before we get into the nitty gritty of what we're going to talk about today, I want to just segue into who Nixon Benoit is, where he grew up, a little bit something about your background growing up in St. Lucia. Of course, you're my brother. But I want the audience, my viewers, and my followers to understand who you are, what your upbringing was like in St. Lucia.
When you're asked, tell me something about yourself, most people want to tell you their hobbies and what they like, the dislikes, and so on. But to me, whenever I'm asked, tell me about yourself and who you are, it goes a lot deeper than that. You know, sometimes for you to know who you are, you need to take a look deep within, so to understand exactly what lies within, what makes you the person that you are. And it's your character, the characters that you exhibit, the feelings and emotions that you have. That's what really makes you who you are, and then how you feel, how you treat others, the respect that you have for others, and the feeling and compassion that you share for others. And of course, what makes you happy as well. The things that you look forward to, the goals that you set yourself, and what you achieve. And on the other side of that, there are the not so good things about you as well. That you have your faults, you have things that you wish that you did not um, like about yourself. But like I said, yeah, it goes deep. But Nixon Benoit, it's is someone who is caring, loving, understanding, thoughtful, and who always tries his best to do the best that he can for himself and for others. Growing up in Vieux Fort, um, the southern part of St. Lucia, life was simple. Everything was simple. Growing up was simple. You studied your schoolwork, you did good at school, you played and enjoyed times with your friends and family, and then you grew up. But you grew up fast. No, you grew up really, really fast. You start looking after your brothers and sisters. You start looking after your friends. You start understanding what family is about. And then I grew up in St. Lucia, learning this, going to school, passing your exams, getting ready for the field of work, and then you become a man. And that's it, really. And that is
I could not have said it better.
it.
Nixon is the first child of my mother. So he's my eldest brother. Okay. And Nixon and I've always had a very close relationship. Always. We were not raised together, but when we did, we had up to this day we have a close relationship. Distance doesn't separate us. Okay.
Definitely.
So Nix, I call you Nix because you're my brother, okay?
I, I,
Nobody else
pre-
has
I,
to
pre-
call you
I
Nix.
prefer that. I prefer that. Let's get the formalities out of the way.
So let me see who we have watching. So we have Modest Glam, of course, she's here, and we have Aloysius Jess. So, oh, hi, Aloysius, that's our cousin. He's
Oh,
watching.
yes.
Yes, that's not Chibecha's son. Yes. So
Yes.
listen. So I know you had a lot of memorable moments in St. Lucia, and of course, family means a lot to you, like it means to me. And when I heard you describing yourself, I heard you describing me because we have so much in common. We have so
Oh,
much
yes. Oh,
alike.
yes.
We have so much,
Oh,
and we have
yes.
so much in common. Like everybody else, we have our differences, we have our faults, and we have our. You understand? None of us are perfect, but I think that's a character that we picked up a lot from our mom. She
Yeah.
was a lot like that. Yeah,
Oh, yes.
um,
Very, very, very influential in our lives. Very, very
yeah,
influential in our lives.
yes. So I'm gonna. I know it's gonna be a little difficult for you as it's going to be for me, but I think this is something that we need to touch on next before we get into your business. So and if at any point you feel like you don't want to say something, you feel it's too difficult for you, just say you pass on that one. Okay. So I know we lost our mom a couple of years ago, and I know we have not been able to embrace each other, and I needed to do that tonight. Um, how are you doing with that?
To be totally honest, when mom passed away, there was a void. Mom took a piece of all of us with her because growing up, everything was mommy. You know, I remember my mom as a hardworking woman. She worked hard. Whether it be in the garden, whether it be at a job. My mom had a passion for being a pharmacist, and then when it became to being a pharmacist, nothing stopped her. She worked hard at it. And then she cared a lot for her kids. Everything was her kids. I remember when I started going to St. Mary's College, we lived with mom at Cedars. So we she used to work at the pharmacy, and then in the morning you go to school and everything else. In the afternoon, I would come back and I would say, "Mom, I need $5 to go get some custard." And it could be her last $5. Mom would reach in her purse and give me her last $5 to go get custards. And even if I had to walk home, I would walk home. But she gave me her $5. But I would use half of it and hold the other half for tomorrow. Really, that that was mom. She was an amazing woman. So when she passed, even today, honestly, if she was here, my life would be better. I know she'd be involved in the business. I know she'd be there supporting me. Right now, I wish she was here. I wish she was, because I
Honestly.
know she would set everything straight. She was
Yeah.
always business minded, because I think I got this whole business thing from her. I remember
Mm-hmm.
the very first business transaction I did with mom was when we had Creole Day at Roselle, and she
Mm-hmm.
showed me. It was her teaching me how to do business.
Mm-hmm.
So she passed it on. So she not being here right now, to be honest, is 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 a big, it's a big thing for me, and I just wish she was. I have to accept the fact that now she's gone, but she has left a lot of her with me, and I carry her with me every day, even to the point of my hair. My mom was the one who started my locks, and then I may trim it, I may whatever. I can't cut it off because of her. That was what she left with me. Her hands touch my hair, and I'm holding on to that forever. So that's Dealing Fortuna Benoit for you. That's her. So
But
she's missing. Mhm.
for those of you who are just tuning in, I'm speaking to Nixon Benoit. He's my eldest brother. Okay. And I had to ask him about how mom's death affected him, because mom's death affected me in so many ways, because there's so many things I never got a chance to see her before she passed. And like you said, a lot of her characteristics are in us. She
Mhm.
left that with us.
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
I'm a have a business mindset because of her. I'm a resilient a lot, like her. And then people say I look like her, like a lot. And
But
mm,
but and Auntie Rachel, if you meet with Auntie Rachel, you're gonna cry, because Auntie Rachel is Deline.
yeah, I speak
Last
to
time I
her all
checked,
the time.
oh my gosh, she is Deline. Auntie Rachel is Deline. So if you meet
Yeah,
Auntie Rachel, you're gonna cry even more. She
yeah,
reminded me of mom so much.
yes,
She's amazing. She's
yes.
amazing.
And I never got a chance to see her. I never got a chance to touch her. And the nurturer that I know if I was with her, probably she would have been still been here, because I'm a nurturer. I fight for the people that I love. I don't give up on the people that I love. And then it is still having a very difficult toll on me still, because at least you were there. You got a chance to see her, if touch her, but I never did. And our sister Star, she never did. And that has had a very it has been very traumatizing for me. Every time I go back and I look at the pictures, it's been very traumatizing. And but I'm glad that I have you to be able to call
Mhm.
us sometimes, even if I have to give you a color behind your head, get out of it.
But to be honest, yeah, to be honest, I think maybe it was a good thing that you didn't.
Yeah,
I
true.
I mean that in the sense that it was so emotional. It was so, to a point where with all the knowledge that I have as far as medical is concerned, I did feel a bit hopeless. And then that had an effect on me. And then that is what we're going to go into as we
Yes,
progress. Okay.
absolutely. Okay, so now we're talking about mom. I'm holding back my tears.
Hey, don't
Holding
be,
back my
don't
tears.
be.
So I want to talk a little bit more, a bit more about the business. Let's just segue into the business. So um from what I know about you as my brother, you you enlisted in the army. Please tell us about that and what that experience was like for you.
Okay. Um, After leaving school and going into the field of work, I did um I did a lot of jobs which gave me a lot of reward and satisfaction. Okay. I worked with MNC, I worked with Cox and Company, I worked under the stewardship of Mr. Elcock, God rest his soul. And then I even worked as a masseuse at a hotel, and then I gained lots of experience. But I still felt that I could achieve more. There was more I could do, and
Mm-hmm.
then that drove me to do more. And then when I was in the UK for a bit, and then I got to the inclination to, well, the suggestion to join the army, and I was like, nah, that's not for me. Hell no.
Mm-hmm.
But when I came down back from the UK and I went online and I saw the application, I just tried it.
Mm-hmm.
And to my amazement, I was selected. And then, being fit and strong as I was in those days, it was very easy to be enlisted. And then I got in. That changed my life. That experience changed my entire life. It changed my entire being. After joining the British Army, I became a new person. Although I was told not to go in. There's a lot of racism. It's difficult. You're gonna do this. You're gonna die. You know. Well, the fact of dying kind of thrilled me, actually. Sorry to say. But yeah, if I'm gonna die, let's see how that goes. But yeah, so I joined the British Army, and then that changed my entire life. It changed my entire being. It changed me as a person as well.
Mm-hmm.
A 28-year-old person being told when to go to bed, being told what to eat, being told what to wear. You're 28 years old, you're married, and then
Mm-hmm.
some 19-year-old corporal is telling you what to do. It's just a whole mindset change and culture shock at the same time. But that molded me, that disciplined me, that changed my character. You understand? That instilled a lot in me. And then being part of something else, being part of a team, being part of something bigger, greater than life itself, it was eye opening. And then I joined the British Army. I did over 12 years, and then I did 2 tours of Iraq. It's not something I go about telling everybody because if you look at me, you wouldn't think so. But the army, the British Army, really, really had a serious and positive impact on my life. I would ask any young man right now to please join. It will change your life. It will give you some stability. It will give you the discipline. It will make you a man.
Wow.
It will teach you discipline. It will teach you responsibility. It will teach you kindness. It will teach you friendship. It will teach you to value the simple things in life that we take for granted, because that's one of the biggest things I learned in the army. The simple things that we take for granted in life. When you nearly die twice, you will understand what the simple things mean to you. We take a lot of things for granted in life, but when you spend some time in the army and you come close to death, and you see your friends that die, they don't make it back from tour, and then you have to pack all his belongings and take all his belongings back home to his family. You really appreciate the time that you were spending with him and appreciate that you knew this person before he died. So it was
Wow.
good. Plus, the army opened a number of doors for me. I got trained in a lot of things. I got a lot of education. The army educated me. The army taught me confidentiality. It taught me mannerism. It taught me cleanliness. Oh, you cannot have a
Wow.
greater teacher. Honestly, yeah. Honestly, it was
So,
amazing.
so it is obvious, Nick, that the army provide afforded you a lot of opportunities, and to help better yourself. So did wi- that training and the experience you got in the army, did it pave your way into your line of business right now?
It certainly did. It certainly did because first thing I learned was I was a clerk in the army. And in the
Mm-hmm.
army, you clerk, you're a soldier first, but then you have your trade. I was in HR, human resources. I was an HR specialist. And then I sat at a computer all day. I did minutes of meetings. I did planning of meetings, trips. I worked with generals, majors, generals, and top high echelon within the army. So I
Mm-hmm.
learned a lot. And then whilst in the army, I got trained as a medic. I was a medic within the section of my unit. And
Mm-hmm.
then I got a first-hand training on how to deal with applying first aid and treating wounds and so on, and getting patients ready for triaging patients and getting patients ready to be transported to a hospital. On
Mm-hmm.
my two tours of Iraq, we came across many situations where people were injured, and then we had to be taking them to the field hospitals. Even I myself ended up at the field hospital at one time. I collapsed
Oh
while
wow.
in theater. Yeah, and I ended up at the field hospital. And then I got extensive training. And believe in me, when the army trains you, you are trained. Trust me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that gave me specific training and training in a lot of things, even as far as I'm saying it, training, even drivers training. We got drivers training in the army. We got
Mm-hmm.
drivers training. We got fireman training. I'm sure a lot of people who may be watching, people from the UK who are watching right now, may remember Up Fresco. Up Fresco was Operation Fresco, which happened in the UK when the firemen in the UK went on strike. And when the
Mm-hmm.
firemen went on strike, the army was asked to call in to provide fire cover. We were driving around London in our green goddesses, and I'm sure a lot of guys know what a green goddess is. So yeah, we got fireman training, and then we were supplementing for the fire service, and we were based in London for 3 or 4 weeks, outing fires while the firemen were on strike. And if anybody knows, once anybody in the UK goes on strike, the army takes over. And then
Oh wow.
I've had extensive training and experience within the British Army, and that's one thing I can proudly boast about. I can brag about that, and anybody who knows the British Army knows that.
So obviously, wow, I didn't know a lot of these things. So obviously, with that training, you you came down to St. Lucia with that training, right? And you decided to open up your company, Mobility Express. What inspired you? I know a lot of it's a tough job to do ambulatory, and like you said, people need certain skills to do that. So what inspired you? I know you had all your skills
My
in the army. What inspired you to take on that kind of service?
My first inspiration was a close and dear friend of mine who's currently my partner, who gave me an idea. She planted a seed in my head, and then it all stemmed from people with disability. or I should say less ability, because we try not to use the word disability anymore. People with less ability, people who have mobility issues, they're confined to, they're wheelchair users. We don't say confined anymore. You're not confined to your chair. You're a wheelchair user. So wheelchair users. There's always that stereotypical attitude that wheelchair users are not normal, and that is far from the truth. There are wheelchair users that could be a prime minister, that could be a president. There are wheelchair users that could do anything IT. There are wheelchair users that could put their mind, do anything they put their mind to. And then what has been trying to do is to make people more aware that wheelchair users are human beings as well, and they have needs and commitments like everybody else. So my friend planted that seed in my head and said to me, Nixon, there are lots of wheelchair users who have difficulty getting around when in St. Lucia, getting around Castries, and basic things like going to the supermarket, going to church, attending a wedding, going to see friends and family, just getting around. And these people, they are stuck indoors all the time. So why don't we provide a service where we can transport these people around? And then I gave it some thought, and I said to myself, well, yeah, you got something going. So being business minded, I did my market research. I carried out my marketing survey, and the survey came back 99%.
Wow.
And with that, yes, and with that figure, I was like, everybody was up for the 1% was affordability. As if you can
Wow.
afford it, only 1% mention of affordability. So
Okay,
with that,
for
yeah,
for um for the benefit of those of you who are just tuning in, I want to ask you a question based on that number. But I want to acknowledge the viewers. For those of you who are tuning in, we are speaking to Nixon Benoit. Nixon is my eldest brother, and he is the manager and owner of Manage Mobility Express. I keep saying Manage Mobility. What do you think? We make
Mobility Express, and as a matter of
Mobility.
fact, we've even added plus to it, Mobility Express Plus, because further, yeah, I will delve more into that. Yeah.
Mobility Express Plus. Okay. So this is my eldest brother. We're talking to him about, his service. And I want to say hello to Rupi Thompson. Thank you for joining. Joan Ferdinand, Gozile Peter. Thank you so much. Anil Kanai, Susie Mohammed. We have Chabin Dua. We have so many people on Elisha Moshari. Thank you so much for joining us on the live. So let me go back to those numbers. You said that survey, you said 97% or 99?
99, because everybody we approached, we were like, oh my gosh, we've been waiting for this service. We were asking about it, and then and from our approach and what we said that we intend to do and how we intend to do it, in fact, everybody was eager to come on board. So the only thing that we said, well, because as it becomes a business, you have to, we were not in it for maximum profit. We were more into it for the service and care. But we did need the funds to keep the business going because we had our overheads and expenses. But we just wanted to help, to make a difference in people's lives. So when it came to the question of, can you afford it? And we told them, if the price was so and so, can you afford that? And then some people said no. But majority of people said they would pay extra. Just to get out of the house, we would pay you extra. Wow. So therefore, those figures were put into calculation, and then when we did all the works and everything else, we realized this is something that is feasible. So we approached the National Council for the Disabled. I mentioned the idea to them, and then I remember Mr. Moffilas James when I first met this man. This man, he embraced the idea, he embraced us, he embraced Mobility Express, and up to a day like today, he fully utilizes our service. And then we've made quite a difference in the people's lives. So that was the onset of it all, by we providing service for wheelchair users. Then it came to a point where we started transporting school children in wheelchairs. There were a number of school children who were wheelchair users, that was being sponsored by the Ministry of Health, and it was later passed on to Ministry of Education in St. Lucia. And then, believe you me, some people in St. Lucia are not even aware that there are a number of children who go to a specialized school, and these children require transportation from home to school Monday to Friday. Okay, and we provide that service for them. It's a
So it's
special
in
service.
it's in demand.
It's in demand. It's in high demand. It's in high demand. So we started with the wheelchair service, and then from then on, it just started growing. So we provide wheelchair service for wheelchair users, okay, people with less ability. So we transport them around the island, anywhere they want to go. Soufrière, Vieux-Fort, Castries, whether they want to go to the Pitons, we take them there, wherever they go. Just recently, there was this man who suffered a stroke, and then he was bedridden for years now. And then we got a request that this man wants to go to the beach. He wants to go to the beach because before his stroke, he was always at the beach. He's a sea lover. He wants to go to the beach. And imagine a bedridden man who suffered a stroke was actually in the seawater.
That is amazing.
That is amazing. And then the thrill and the joy that it brought this man, it's beyond words. It's beyond words. Because one of the rewards that we embrace is the satisfaction and the joy that we bring to people who are in need of such a service. And
And
then it's fulfilling. It's very
that is
fulfilling.
that is one of the things that that is really amazing about all of this when you're providing a service to people. It's not about you. It's the
No,
satisfaction that you get
no.
when somebody says, I really appreciate you just giving me that experience again to do this, or to hear my story, or to just be empathetic with them. That means more than just doing the job itself. And I
There
applaud you
is,
for it.
yeah, there is there is there is still empathy in this world. There's still a lot of people who care. This is slowly dying out. Some people don't care. People have become more selfish because society has molded into being those selfish kind of people.
Mm.
But there's still a lot of people in this world who care. There's still a lot of people who are understanding. There's still a lot of people who want to assist, who want to help, who want to make a difference. Because in this, being in this field, right, I've experienced a lot. I've seen people being born. I've seen people die. I've seen a lot of people die. Okay, I've seen a lot of people die. I've had a lot of experiences with death. That's why I tell you I'm not even afraid of it anymore.
Mm.
I've had a lot of experiences with death, and then the only thing is about death. Number one word is not even grief. People tend to think it's grief or I'm sad, but the number one thing that hits you, unfortunately, is regret. You wish you could have done more. You wish you could have been there. You wish you could have, saved the life. You regret. But in the end, you know you did your best for that person, and that person has passed on. You get the sense of satisfaction that I did my best for this person, and I'm satisfied. Even if I could have done more, but I did my best. And then that you take with you, okay? And that helps you grow, that helps you understand, that helps you be a better person holistically.
Wow. That's a lot.
No, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And then, like I said, people see you every day, but what you go through, the energies that you take on. When someone has someone who is ill and sick, they're in a moment of stress, and you come in to assist and to help, and you take on all that stress. And
Yes.
then you go home with it. Sometimes the patient that you're dealing with, the person that you're dealing with passes away. And then you have to deal with it as well. You could swear as a family member. I'll give you a short story. One of the children we used to transport to school, he was a wheelchair user. And like I tell people, they see you in this business, they think you're just there for the money, for the money. But there are people who touch your life, and the people you want to make a difference to. And then this little boy, just after celebrating his birthday, he died in a fire. He was about 11, 12, and he passed away in a fire. And this child is a child that you used to pick up every morning, Monday to Friday, take to school. On a Saturday, you would take him out to be out and about and to enjoy his life. And then one day you get a phone call that he's passed away tragically. I mean, it touches you.
It does.
It touches you. And that's just one person. Think of all the others. You know, it is
So
really, really, it's intense. It is intense. And it is something that you have to deal with.
I'm thinking what best way to
Mhm.
ask this question, because I want it to be as, I know you said you're not afraid of death anymore, but I know we lost mom. How did her situation factor into you um implementing that business idea and getting into that business?
I think you've read my mind, you know. I know we're brother and sister, but it's like you actually in my head. You couldn't have asked a more appropriate question because Mobility Express, we deal with the wheelchair aspect, but we also deal with the private ambulance service. Okay. And what started this whole ambulance service was when mom fell ill. Okay, she fell ill. She being a pharmacist, so she knew what medication to take for this, she knew what medication to take for that. But in her moments of weakness, there's a lot that transpired. And it came to a point where mom needed to have a scan. So after consultation with the doctors and so on, they told us that she needs to have the scan. So they said, as long as we make the payment, and believe you me, oh my God, the Benoit family, Emmeline, Genevieve and Mary, everybody, believe you me, these guys are amazing. They are amazing because when it was that time, they all got together. They said to Nixon, whatever help you need, just let us know. Everybody got together and then we worked it out. Mom had to pay some money to get the scan. The money was paid, and then we were ready to go. They said, as long as the money is paid in the morning, she's going to be taken up to Tapion to have the scan. Now, she's at St. Jude in the south. Tapion is all the way to the north. That time, there were no scanning facilities in the south. No problem. The following morning, Wednesday morning, and that's how I can remember it so vividly. Wednesday morning, mom has to go up for a scan. So we're all at the hospital and we're waiting. So the ambulance pulls up and then they were about to load her into the ambulance. All of a sudden, the nurse comes and the nurse says to us, I'm really sorry that your family member cannot go up to do the scan right now because there's another patient who is in ICU who has to go up to do the scan. So priority is now given to the ICU patient. I totally understand. But to be honest, when you see it's your family member, you get a bit irate. And then I got a bit angry. I can understand, I empathize with the fact that it's an ICU patient who needs urgent care. But believe you me, sometimes emotion takes over and then you become a bit selfish. And I did become a bit selfish because that was my mom. That was
Mm-hmm.
my mom. So a part of me really didn't care too much about that person, to be honest. Okay, I'm meant to be empathetic, but honestly,
And
really, it is
that's
my mom.
understandable because that's
Yeah, I
mom.
wanted my mom. I wanted my mom to get on that ambulance ASAP, but
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, she didn't. Now the ambulance has to go all the way to Castries, do the scan, come back. Sis, I'm talking about hours. We waited at the hospital for hours. That day, I didn't have lunch. I didn't care. I just wanted to see my mom. The ambulance came back to Vieux Fort at 4 p.m. The ambulance left Vieux Fort at 9 o'clock and came back at 4 p.m. All the time, mom was waiting. And it came to a point where mom had to be placed on oxygen now because the situation is starting to deteriorate. Because they do not know what's wrong with her, they don't know how to treat her. So then, when it was time to get into the ambulance, they almost said that they were not going to do it because it's too late. It's too late to bring her up to do the scan. Luckily for me, I knew somebody at Tapion who was the one doing the scan. So I made the phone call and I said to them, can you please see my mom? She's coming up for a scan. We've already paid for the ambulance. So she's on her way. Can you just hold on and do the scan for me? He said, Nixon, no problem, because it's you, it's not a problem. We'll get the scan done for you. So I spoke to the ambulance driver. They finally put the ambulance and she went up to do her scan. We waited for hours. My mom left at about 4:35ish. She didn't come back until late evening. All the time we stayed at the hospital waiting. I couldn't go with her because under the circumstances I was not allowed to travel on the ambulance. I didn't have a car there at the time because at the time I was on holiday. I didn't really have a car to go up with her, so I just waited. Mom went to do the scan and she came back. When she came back, the doctor called us in and said, "Well, boy, she has some problem on her lungs and this and that and everything else. However, it is still inconclusive. We're still doing tests." And I said to them, "Well, maybe had she gone to do that scan sooner, had she gone to do the scan sooner, had she gotten an ambulance and they'd have probably seen what's wrong with her. And then I'm not saying they would have waved the magic wand and get her okay, but sometimes a simple scan, especially nowadays, a simple MRI, a simple CT scan can tell you there's pneumonia, there's there's fluid on her lungs, her alveoles, her bronchitis, maybe bronchitis. So they can tell you something ASAP, and it can be started treatment right away. So I was a bit angry. I was a bit frustrated. I was a bit not happy with the service at the hospital and with the doctors. And then when the time came, I said, you know what? Martinique has private ambulance services. The UK has private ambulance services. Why can't St. Lucia has a private ambulance service? And that's when it clicked. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go into it. And it was one of the EMS at the fire service. Okay. He knows who he is if he's listening. He was the one who came and told me, "Nixon, can you put a stretcher on that vehicle?" And then we tested the stretcher on the vehicle and wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. That was it. I have to give some credit, unfortunately, to Mr. Herman, Craig Herman. He was the one who really started this whole thing for me. He brought me into the business and then he showed me the ropes. I am extremely grateful to him for that because he paved the way for me. You understand? I remember he was the one who called me for my very first patient. It was a Thursday evening. He called me and he told me there's the patient at Victoria who needs moving. And then he made the arrangements and we moved the patient. And that was my very first patient, Miss George. I can never forget her. God rest her soul. She was
So
our very, very first patient. And then that's what started the ambulance service for Mobility Express. So, Craig, as much as you may think, thank you.
that's just character. I know we're
No,
gonna.
honestly.
Um,
Mm.
as I listen to you talk about the experience that from the inception of how the service began, how that idea came to you and whatnot, and I think about how much mom went through. I literally, like, I was shivering
Mm.
because in this day and age, there's no reason why we should be lacking certain things, especially services like this.
Well, St. Lucia is a small developing country. Okay. And, after spending so long in the UK, you get to see things done differently and simpler. You know, they have the resources, but our leaders here in St. Lucia are not making full um, use of the opportunities that they have to make a difference as far as healthcare is concerned. There's a lot more that they can do. I'm not saying they're not doing, they're doing a lot, but there's a lot that we're lacking here. Now, private ambulance service is a new concept to St. Lucia, very new.
Let me
Um,
let me stop you for a minute for the viewers to see your business. Okay, we've been talking, you've been just been let the viewers see your business. And while I show it, you're going to continue with what you were saying because I want them to see your private ambulatory service. Okay, where am I? Okay, there I go. All righty then. Okay.
All right then.
Yeah, all right then. So this is Nix's um, business, Mobility Express. For those of you in St. Lucia who may not have heard of him, he owns Mobility Express. I think he and his business partner. Am I saying that correct, Nix?
Yes, we have people who assist us immensely, who provide us with funding. There are people who assist with our operations of the business. There are people who have invested as well, and we do get a lot of help. But I wish we got a lot more help, especially from the government. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because of what we do, it's true they give us a little concession as far as the vehicles and medical equipment is concerned. But
Mm-hmm.
a small grant would go a long way, sis, because it, to be honest, as much as it's a good business, but it's a very expensive business to run because the equipment, stretchers, a simple thing as sanitizers, gloves, you know, sheets, you know, and all the equipment that we use. We need to sanitize the vehicle after every use. So you find that a lot of what we use requires a lot of thing. Plus, the vehicles run 24 hours, 7 days a week, and they require maintenance. And believe you me, you know, the roads take the toll on the vehicles, and it's
Mm-hmm.
parts here, parts there. And then, you know, and the team, to keep your team going, you have to have the morale high. So you need to make sure that they're okay and whatever
Mm-hmm.
that they're going through, that you'll be able to assist them. We still have overheads and debts to cover. You know, we are thankful to our debtors for their understanding. Sometimes, you know, the payments come in late. And, you know, they get a bit upset sometimes, but they're very understanding when we have our little late payments. But it's a very, very expensive business to run. You know, just think of a hospital, how much a hospital spends on equipment and so on, and just think you're running a little private hospital, because technically we're running a little private hospital because we have oxygen tanks, we have to buy blood pressure monitors, we have to buy cardiac machines, we have to buy braces, we have to have life-saving devices. You know, it's and these things are very, very expensive. Anybody, you go online and try to Google or eBay a used defibrillator, just a used one. It's thousands. You know, a stretcher. We need the stretcher, what is called a gurney. We need a stretcher. A stretcher is almost what, 2,000, 1,000 pounds. You know, that's equivalent to 3,000 EC dollars.
I
You
could
know, so it's a
understand.
yeah. So if we can get some assistance, it's always helpful. You know, but
Yeah,
we do best with what we have, and then we try our best to keep our patients and our customers happy.
and that's the important thing. They don't
Yes.
have to know how when anything
Yes,
is
what we
like.
go through, but we're there for them. We're there
Yes.
for them.
So I
Mm.
could understand that mix because I kept saying the managed mobility because there was this guy who had when Noah and I used to go to his appointments, his his physical therapy, his speech
Mm-hmm,
therapy,
mm-hmm,
his occupational
mm-hmm.
therapy, and of course sometimes when he has to go to his psychologist, it is a vehicle like that picks us up.
Yes.
Not yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so they pick us up and they have all of these things you talk about. They have the defibrillator, they have the oxygen tank, they need to have a way to be able to it's just a lot they deal with. So I could certainly understand because I experienced it myself and I've spoken to a lot of the people who have that business. And a lot of them are not even in business anymore because it is so difficult to maintain and to keep that business going. So I could
It
imagine in
is.
a little country like St. Lucia where it is not it can be difficult. It can be difficult, you know?
Well, it certainly is, and then you know, you are making a difference in a lot of people's lives. You know, we getting people out of their homes, and you could leave your house sitting in your wheelchair. We get you on board the vehicle and we take you to the supermarket. You could do your shopping, groceries. We are there with you, and then we take you back home. It's good to be in the supermarket. You know, you want to go to a church service, we take you to a church service. We take you to your doctor's appointment. We take you to see your family members, people you have not seen. Could you imagine living in Castries and then you have family in Labrie that you've not seen in years just because
Mhm.
you're in a wheelchair? We take you in your wheelchair, we drive you down to Labrie. We pull you up all those steps, and then you spend the day in Labrie, and then in the evening we take you back up to Castries. That's joy to you. You
Yes.
understand? So
So
we provide a service that's very, very important. It is life changing.
so at the moment, is it only your company that does private ambulatory service, or are there any other, other people who do that? And what are some of the challenges that you would think that you face, you know, doing that?
Well, when we first started, there was TLC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, big up, big up to you, Jason. Big up to you, Jason Pierre. Jason Pierre was one of the first guys, along with Craig, who started transporting people as far as that was concerned. They pioneered, but
Mm-hmm.
what they did was limited to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came, I took it to the next level. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? I took it to the next level. We introduced uniforms. We introduced getting the EMTs on board. We introduced the professionalism about the whole thing. We're not just trying something. This
Mm-hmm.
is a business. This is a business. That's why we have our uniforms, we have our badges, we have our equipment, and we're professional.
Mm-hmm.
And we took it to the next level. And then, so there was TLC at first, then came in Mobility Express, and then came ZMed.
Mm-hmm.
Big up to you too, David. So there's ZMed as well. And of course, how can I forget our friend Philip? Philip is the one who operates down south. Philip Medical Ambulance Services, you know. Philip operates down in the south. So he's our southern partner down there. So when we have any works, any jobs down south, we contact him and then we work together with him. And right now he's partnered with St. Jude's.
That's
Right?
beautiful.
Yes, he's providing auxiliary services to St. Jude's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and his service is in high demand. He actually had to quit his job to do the ambulance job because
Mm-hmm.
there's such high demand. So big up to Philip down there in the south. You know, so right now there are four of us who work as private ambulance services.
Mm-hmm.
We try to coordinate together. Right now, we're in the process of trying to form an association
Mm-hmm.
so that we can work together in partnership. Myself, David, and Philip, we work together. Jason is more. He's calmed down the whole thing a bit,
Mm-hmm.
but but he's still around, still doing his thing. And then we try our best to provide the service, and then we do it
So
wholeheartedly. But the service is starting. More and more people are starting to know about the business because most people may think, but Nixon, how come we've never seen an ad? How can we never see you advertise or come on social media and so on? The question to that is simple. If I'm making bread in my oven, I'm in my one little oven in the kitchen, all right? I can't advertise I'm a bakery, can I? I only have one little oven in my kitchen.
true.
So when
Before he
people start,
continue, I had to drag him on this show.
so
That's
when people start
literally
coming to
drag him.
buy, when people start coming to buy loads of bread, I can't supply. So the problem is we do not have, like I said, we don't have the facility, we don't have the vehicles, we do
Mm-hmm.
not have enough vehicles to provide everybody. So we go little by little. So we're taking it step by step. It was a small seed we planted in a pot, and this
Mm-hmm.
seed is now grown into a big tree. So we're just going to transplant this tree into a garden slowly but surely.
Right. I'm just really elated. I can see, while you were speaking, the passion that you have for
Oh,
what you're doing. And we've had a number of conversation as brother and sister. For those of you just joining, this is my brother. Okay, I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm so happy to see him. He's my eldest brother. And I can during our conversations, I could hear how passionate you are, and I could, when somebody has something and it's their baby, I see you nurturing this thing like it's your baby, your business like it's your baby, and I commend you for that. And not only that, I commend you for um for just giving credit to those who deserve, because it has to take. Sometimes we come up with an idea, maybe somebody has had it before, they were doing it before, you understand, maybe you can enhance it, whatnot, but it is important that we give credit where it is due to the people who paved the way for us to be able to do certain things. So I commend you for that. I commend you. I remember, I'm gonna say I remember a couple of months ago, I saw a post somebody posted about your business, and I had to call you up and I said, "Hey, what's up with that?" You know, and we don't want to mention any names or we don't want to do any negativity, but I had to ask you what's up with that, and then when you explained it to me, I understood. So I understand there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people are going to say things, and they're going to have challenges. What are some of your greatest challenges right now, Nix?
Well, to be honest, yeah, I'm somebody, you know, from like I said, I got this from my mom. That
From our
if I
mom,
say,
you can say my
yeah,
mom.
yeah, from our mom, that if I say I'm gonna do something, I do it. I'm a doer. Now in life, there are people who lead, there are people who follow, there are people who are sayers, there are people who are doers. Okay. When you come across a sayer, okay, and you tell the sayer that you're gonna do something, when you end up doing it, the sayer has a problem with that
That's true.
because he's a sayer. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's as simple as I can put it. The sayer, he's going to talk about it as much as he can, but he's not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But with me, I will tell you I will do it. And believe you me, I will do it. I will find a way to get it done. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So that's what happened. I got it done. And by getting it done, well, envy and jealousy will come about. You understand? And then I'm a person, I try, that's like I said, the army taught me a lot of qualities. And one of the qualities the army taught me was fairness,
Mm-hmm.
equality, you know. It taught me to be honest, you know, because with those traits, you will go forward in life. You understand? You will go forward in life. So when I decided to do something and I said to you, I'm going to do that, and then I do it, and then you have a problem with it, I'm sorry. Nothing in life is perfect. Okay, nothing in life is perfect. So you will get some glitches. But some of the challenges I have is like people, I'm not happy with what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You're helping people. What's wrong with that? Some people are not happy with what you're doing. Some people are envy and jealous. The little Rastaman from Viewfort that's doing it. Unfortunately, it's not the little white boy or the little Shabin boy. Sadly, it's a little black Rasta boy from Viewfort. So why should it be him and not me?
Mm-hmm.
Um, you try to approach people in a positive and professional manner. People take you for granted and feel like you're not worthy. You know. And then when you approach people for help, people are reluctant. They can see what you're trying to achieve, they can see what you're trying to do, but they're reluctant. And they don't realize that you not helping me keeps me down. You not helping me keeps me down, keeps other people down. You understand? So you not helping me, you just not helping at all.
Others. Let me tell you this.
Mhm.
One thing I keep saying this, and I keep posting it. There is room at the table for everyone.
Everybody, exactly.
Everyone.
Exactly. But we have one factor that hinders that. Because at the table, some people want more than others. So greed comes in. You understand? If I was in this business and I was greedy, you see my other people who work the same business as me, I would not give them the opportunity. I would want to capitalize, I would not monopolize. But
You know,
that's not good.
one of the things that you said, Nix, you said you are trying to form a union. And I think it is St. Lucia is really small. It's really small. And I feel that if everybody comes together, this could be something really profitable for everybody. But it's not everybody that's going to be on the same wavelength in a business, especially when you have with different attitudes, different mindsets, and different
Well,
ways of doing things. But I think it can be really profitable.
well, that is what we're trying to achieve. That is why we're asking everybody to come together so that we're on the same page. Because right now, you find that when it comes to affordability, that this guy might be charging this guy might be charging that, that there's sometimes a little difference in the pricing. But we try to make the pricing fair. We try to make the pricing unilateral. We try to make the pricing affordable to everybody, and we try to make the pricing the same. So we're working on that because, like I
Okay.
said, this is a new concept. This is
Mm-hmm.
something that is newly started, and this is something that is just getting off the ground. So we want people to understand what we do and why we do what we do. But some people are not understanding that. They think that we run a taxi service. You understand? They think when you call me at midnight to that your family member is having difficulty breathing, and I come to them, I assess them, I put them on oxygen, and I drive them with the siren and the lights onto the hospital. When I get to the hospital, I have to do a handover takeover with the nurse, whereby I have to give the nurses the vitals that we took at the bedside, your blood pressure, your SpO2 level, your blood sugar level. I had to do all of that at your bedside, and then to carry you from your home, wherever that was, 159 steps to get you to the hospital. And then when you get there, you're telling me that I should be charging you $50. Really?
Mm-mm.
Really? Exactly. So we want people to understand what we do and how we do it. You understand? We make the prices as fair as we can. We know most St. Lucians are hardworking people and they're not all rich and can afford the prices. But at the same time, we have to put it in a way that is affordable. At the same time, we need to cover our overheads. We need to cover the fuel costs. We need to cover our time. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you go pick up somebody to take them to the hospital. When you get to OKEU hospital, you 3 hours at OKEU hospital. One, we're trying to assist the nurses and the doctors to get you stabilized because we don't just drop you at the hospital. We make sure that we get you onto a bed and then that you're comfortable and you're stable. Then we leave the hospital.
Wow.
So could you imagine going to do a simple job that's supposed to take about an hour, and 3 hours later you're just getting home? And the thing that as soon as you get home, you get another call.
So you're 24 hours.
24 hours. Yeah, we offer a 24-hour service because the last thing you hear is some family member calling you. I've called fire service and fire service is unavailable. They're giving me your number and I really need to take my family member to hospital and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You can't
Wow.
say no.
Exactly. Because
You get
that's
out
what you
there.
signed up for.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you get up and you go do it, and then you make a difference in that person's life. As a matter of fact, sometimes just doing that, you may just have saved the person's life. I remember I took a little gentleman. It was Sunday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was at a barbecue, and I got a call that this gentleman is having difficulty breathing, and he needs to go to the hospital ASAP. Fire service is unable to respond. So I got up. I went single-handedly. I got into the ambulance. Along the way, picked up an EMT, got to the house, picked up the gentleman who was gasping for air. Okay, stiff already. Took him to the hospital. You know, thankfully we have some lovely nurses and doctors that are okay. You are very helpful. People tend to tell you I had a bad experience at the hospital. That's your bad experience. Okay, probably you made it a bad experience, but the doctors and nurses who are working tirelessly, 12-hour shifts at OKEU to try and help people. And these people are working hard. And when you get there as an ambulance driver, you have these people who are come, what can we do for you? How can we help? And they assist you the best that they can. They get you a bed, they get sheets for you, they get the domestic people to make the bed and to get the patient into a bed. And just yesterday, I went to the ward, and then this gentleman who was gasping for air is looking at me and telling me, "Thank you so much for getting him to the hospital." The wife cannot thank me enough. If she could have signed the title deed to her house to me, she would. Because she was so grateful that her husband is doing so well at the hospital right now.
And these are the
Mm.
experiences that makes you want to continue. So,
Exactly, because sometimes you want to stop.
mhm,
Sometimes I want to stop doing this because, sis, there are days when the debts get really high. You have debts that you need to pay. And then when people call you for the money is not yet there because we're waiting for a check to clear. We're waiting for a payment to be made. And then the phone calls keep coming and then the people are calling you, Nixon, we need our money now. And you don't have the money yet. And then, there's a problem with the vehicle. The vehicle has a flat tire. The vehicle is missing this part and everything else. Or some days you're just so tired. I don't want to do this anymore. But you get that one phone call that tells you, Nixon, we need you. What are you going to do? I'm not doing this anymore. So you get up and you go, and then that's the life. So basically, I've started something that I cannot stop, technically.
I believe that you are going to get what you need to continue this business, to continue running that business, because I can honestly see that there is a need. There are certain things that you told me, although all the length of time that we're speaking, I did not even realize, this was to the depth of how, how needed it is in St. Lucia. So
Mhm.
what is the government? What would you like the government, like to see the government do to assist, little private services like this, especially one like yours?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to see all the stakeholders, everybody who has a say in this whole matter, to come together and then put the proper legislation in place to have what we do legislated. Because at the moment, it's not properly legislated. Okay, there's still rough areas that needs to be ironed out. There's stakeholders like the Ministry of Health, the fire service, the police, traffic department. All of the police are doing a wonderful job. Oh my gosh, the police are amazing. The police are assisting us at all times. The police are amazing. They're doing a fantastic job. Members of the public who assist when the ambulance needs to pass. So we're grateful for that. So if the government can come together, get the proper legislation in place so that everything is legislated, so that we are covered with what we do. Um, get the right people on board, the ministers, Ministry of Health, Medical and Dental Association, and so on. And everybody who has a part to play can come together and have us on par. Sensitization, education, for example, let people know that this service is available. So when you see the ambulances coming, make way, let the ambulance pass through. Sometimes it's your family member, it's your child who just got hit at the school that's on board the ambulance, and then you obstructing the ambulance, not knowing that your child is on board. We want people to assist when we park certain places. Try not to hinder the ambulance. So a good sensitization program, legislation, and of course a grant. Bloody hell, give us a grant. Call,
So what? Yeah, that's a great.
call us in and tell us, you ambulance guys, what do you need? How can we help? Because
Mhm.
we assist the fire service. The poor guys, the fire service. God, I said to you, sis, God bless the firemen in St. Lucia. You see the fire service in St. Lucia. These guys work hard. You understand? And we see what they go through. They recently conducted some training in getting the public more aware as far as
Mhm.
first aid, bleeding, drowning, snake bites, and everything is concerned, so that they can do their part and not always relying on the fire service to come to assist every time. So the fire service run a good program. They just did the course and they gave certificates, so they're doing a fantastic job. The firemen, they respond to everything: gunshot wounds, stabbing,
I could
violent acts,
imagine.
accidents. They do everything. So they are inundated as far as cause are concerned. So what they tend to do,
Yes.
the non-medical emergencies, they pass it on to us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they pass it on to us, and then we respond, and then we then come in and we take care of the patients and we take the patients to the hospital. So that is a huge help for fire service. So
Yes.
therefore, the firemen are not always burnt out; they're always not overworked. So we assist them a lot, and then you find that fire service, because we, the private ambulance service, comes in now. Fire service will take you to the hospital, but when you've recovered and you're well, they don't take you from the hospital to go home.
True. True.
So
That's how it
private
is.
ambulance, yeah, right. So the private ambulance service, that's where we are vital in doing hospital discharges. So we come in, we take you from your hospital bed. to your bed, wherever that is.
Let
So
me.
we do that, and then
I don't
we
want
do
to
that.
cut you short, huh? But I've been smiling for about a minute. You don't know why I'm smiling. So there was this gentleman I had on my show. His name is Roseman Clary, and we've been really good friends. We like family. And he wrote, "Good evening to all. Cindy, I have experienced the service of this gentleman, and I must say he is no doubt a professional. I just want to thank him and David for helping me after my big surgery that had me going to the hospital every week for dressing."
So
Roseman,
I am glad.
Roseman
Thank you so much,
is
Mr. Clary.
this.
I truly appreciate that. And as you can see, I am not sitting here fabricating stuff.
I this
Mm,
Roseman. This is my eldest brother.
mhm.
That's my eldest brother. And if you know me, you would know that he's a good man. He's a good man.
Mhm.
So thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. And Nixon, I cannot tell you enough how much I want to help.
Mhm.
And I am trying everything that I can to do the best that I can to help you. Because I am a very family oriented person. And I believe help with the little that you have, and God is going to continue blessing you. And it hurts me that I am not able to help.
No, but that's where you are wrong. That's where you are so wrong. This evening, this opportunity, this moment, this life that we're sharing now, is a big thing, sis. Like you said to me once, we should have done this very long time ago. But I wanted to make sure that I was prepared. Okay, and for the past couple weeks, have certainly prepared me for this opportunity. And then even when I was busy, for example, I'm supposed to be at work right now, and
Mhm.
then you were the one who called me and you told me, Nixon, come on, let's do this. And then you pushed me, you prompted me, and then you encouraged me. And then here I am. And I'm sure there may not be thousands who are probably getting this message, but for the few that are getting this message this evening, it's gone a long way. And I'm sure it's going to touch a nerve somewhere. Okay. So by you doing this evening, by you encouraging me, by you bringing me on, this is huge. This is huge. And you know the power of social media. And
Yeah.
right now, you brought me onto social media, and then you opening a way. And then I can never thank you enough for that. So don't think that you're not helping, you are. And in other ways, by you always being there for me, somebody to talk to, somebody to say to me, I love you, is encouragement. It's strength. It's motivation. You understand? My sis is there with me. She's supporting me. That's
Yes.
as much as I remember. We've lost a lot.
We
We
have
have
lost.
lost a lot, and we lost them in quick succession. So
Mhm.
that made us vulnerable. We could have just shut down. You
Mhm.
know. In quick succession, we lost Jason, Kieran, mom. We lost
Grandma,
them quick.
granddad.
Yes, quick, and then so having you there to motivate me, and even Stasha Benoit, Merit, I miss you.
We missed you.
We miss you. Link up, sis, link up.
Yeah.
Having you guys is motivation. And I have support. I have a lot of support. I have lovely person like Kufni. I still have Liz. I still have the kids. I have people
Mhm.
who support me. I've got a lovely
Mhm.
team who work with me. I've got Jerome, who's inspirational. I've got Felix, who's
Mhm.
my driver. Felix, oh my God, Felix is the greatest. When everybody else, right, decided to turn and walk away, Felix stood by me and Felix told me, Nixon, we can do it. And right now, because of Felix, we have an extra vehicle, and Felix is driving that vehicle. And Felix gives me his utmost support. He's there for me. If I have a job to do and I cannot do it, I can call Felix and say, Felix, can you do this job for me? Do it. So I have to give credit to my supporting team, Justin, Kerfer, Montel, Nilsa, you know, Everyone. If I've not mentioned your name, I do apologize, but we have a very, very strong team. All the guys are there supporting us. Oh, and Kevin, I've not forgotten you, Kevin Hart. And all the doctors and nurses at Tapion, at Victoria, the old Victoria Hospital, OKEU nurses, the nurses at the ER, you know, the doctors, or Dr. Lopez, the Cuban doctors and nurses, Dr. Nathaniel, you know, all the people, Mark and reception, and all the reception team. You know, it's not just us; it's a whole team, a whole medical team. You know, when we arrive at the emergency room with a patient, there are nurses who sometimes leave what they're doing and come and assist you, come and assist the patient, come and see what's wrong, and then they help you, because when you're arriving at the hospital is just not it. You need to do much more. So when you
Mhm.
have that team at the hospital who helps you, these guys are amazing, you know. So we
Mhm.
have the support team. So tonight is important. Tonight is very, very important. And I'm glad that I've got this opportunity now to let people know what we do, how we do it. We're not a
Mhm.
taxi service. If we take you from your hospital bed and we're bringing you home and you have a prescription and you need to stop at Massey Pharmacy to get the medication, Fire Service will not stop and let you go get no medication. Mobility Express will, ZMed will, Philip will, you know, TLC will. So we provide you that service. If whilst we transporting your family member, they soil their adult pants, we will change the nappy, we will change it, we will deal with everything. You know, we deal with everything. We're not a taxi service, so we charge you for a service. That's why, and we go to the fullest for you. You know, we do
So,
we do everything for you.
so my dear brother, have you I call him my brother. For those of you who just tuning in, that is my blood brother, and he is the owner of Mobility
Mobility
Express in
Express,
Saint Lucia. I got it right this time.
you
Mobility
getting there?
Mobility Express in Saint Lucia. It's an ambulatory service, and then they work around the clock. And next, have you approached the government with some of the initiatives that you mentioned
I
here?
I I remember a couple of years ago. Um, because like I said, we use specialized vehicles. The vehicles that we use are different. You know, people were being shoved into an ambulance and we realized, you know what? Let's change the concept. Let's have people being raised and lifted into an ambulance. People prefer that than being shoved in like some, you know,
Sorry.
cardboard box in the back of a
That's how
van.
they're doing it up here. They are lifted.
Yes, exactly.
With the wheelchair, we
Right.
lift people up and put them in comfortably.
Exactly, exactly. So we brought that concept in, so people feel more appreciated, more special. So these
Mm,
vehicles are specialized equipped vehicles, and they cost a lot of money. So I approached the Minister for Disability, and I said to him, look, you know, we're trying to do something, and what we're trying to do is very, very costly. Can the government issue us a grant? And the answer was, well, we'll see what we can do. That was many, many, many moons ago. And then we've never and we're not hard to find. I'm not a hard person to find. Everybody knows my number. I cannot take a nap without my phone ringing. Everybody knows my number. You know, if the minister needs to find me, the minister knows how to find me. The
mhm.
minister can call me and say to me, Nixon, how can we help? You know,
Well,
there are people
I
who
would
there
tell
are people
you,
who try to approach. Yeah.
sometimes when we need something, we gotta be persistent with it.
Oh, darling, I am persistent. I am very persistent.
And
I
I was
even
just
have
about to say, knowing
no.
you, with your quality,
Don't do that.
if you like me, yes.
They call me the pest from the south. I'm the pest. I will pester you. I will call you. That's one thing I learned. That's one thing the army taught me. If you want to get it done, you use whatever means you can to get it done. Even if you have to call Joe Blogs 5:30 in the morning 10 times, you call Joe Blogs 5:30 10 times to get it done. You know,
Hmm.
that's me. That's my mentality. I will be persistent till we get it done. I will not give up. You know, but if you within yourself do not want to help, that's you.
Yeah.
That's you. Okay, there are a lot of people who help us. I cannot go without mentioning Mr. Trevor Natram. I would like to say a huge thank you to Mr. Trevor Natram. Okay, Trevor has been very, very supportive of what we do. Okay, and this man, I called him up once and I said, Trevor, I want to do so and so, so and so. And Trevor told me, Nixon, if it was anybody else, I could have said no, but because it's you, it's a yes from me. And when somebody tells you that, it just opens new doors. And
Yes.
it's not like he's not helping just me, he's helping a lot of people. So, Trevor, thank you. So, there are people who are willing to help. There are people who can understand what you do. But there are some people who just play a blind eye. And it hurts me a lot to see that on Disability Day, World Disability Day, that the government and everybody is out there, showing their compassion and their attitude towards the disability faculty. But then after World Disability Day, what do you do? You
Nothing.
understand? Nothing. It's only recently, thanks to the government, now that they're now putting ramps around the city so that everything is wheelchair accessible. Because before you couldn't enter Valmont, you couldn't enter certain business places in Saint Lucia because there was no ramp.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't wheelchair around the city because it's not just the locals. What we do does not just impact on the locals. Believe it or not, I forgot to mention that what we do impact on tourism a lot. You understand? Mobility Express has a tour operating service. We do tours. So when the cruise ship comes to dock and there are wheelchair users on board, they book the tours and then we take them around to see the rest of the island.
Mm-hmm.
Before they were just confined to Castries.
Yeah.
Now we transport them all over as far as Sulphur Springs. You understand? The government has now gone on initiative to put ramps and to put pathways so that wheelchairs can navigate around the city. Brilliant. Business
And
places are now understanding that the wheelchairs need to get in. So I'm not saying that the government is not doing, but they can
mm-hmm.
do more. They can do
Mm-hmm.
more.
Yeah, and I believe with the demand and the necessity for ambulatory service in Saint Lucia, I believe that there should be a point where I don't discuss government and politics on here because I don't believe I don't believe that's a place, but I could honestly say that I think that more needs to be done in that regard, not for just not just to think about, okay, well, I'm helping this business, but think about the citizens of St. Lucia. Like you
That's
said, it
right.
impacts tourism, how you can help people better, feel more, even if they are of a different ability, but have a little bit more freedom and feel that
Exactly.
they are doing something with their lives. Because when somebody's stuck in a house all day, all night for years, depression kicks in and
Sis,
anxieties, and people feel hopeless.
I want to say good night to Titi. I call her Titi, but
Mhm.
Miss Clovis. Miss Clovis, if this message gets to you, I want to let you know thank you. Miss Clovis is one person I can tell you because of Mobility Express, her whole life has changed.
Mhm.
I remember Miss Clovis as a young lady going around Castries on wooden crutches.
Mhm.
She doesn't have she had some issues with her legs, and then she was always moving around Castries in crutches. She spent her entire life growing as she grew older, and she never ever sat in a wheelchair. Everywhere she went, she had her wooden crutches. Okay, I remember the very first day that the National Council for the Disabled, God bless Miss Reynolds as well, upper National Council for the Disabled. She's doing a fantastic job. She called me and she said, Nixon, we have an annual general meeting in Dennery. We have a few people we want to take down. And I remember the very first time I went to Titi's house to pick her up. Titi said, "Oh, she has never sat in a wheelchair and she cannot get onto any vehicle." No. I said, "Titi, don't you worry. We will come and get you." We went to get Titi from her home. We put her in a wheelchair and we got her into the vehicle. We drove her down to Dennery, all the way down to Dennery. The lady's in tears. I said, "But Titi, why are you crying?" She said to me, "Nixon, I don't know when last I was on a bus. I don't know when
Wow.
last I was in such a vehicle. I don't know when last I went down to Dennery. I have not seen Dennery. I don't know where Dennery was." She tell you that, and she met other people like herself.
Mm-hmm.
So she got a sense of belonging. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? She she conversed with other people. She felt like she was no longer alone. Okay. The following week, we took her to National Council for the Disabled up at Karili for her to be measured. I went to her house, I picked her up, and I took her to Karili to be measured. She got measured because people don't know that you need to be measured to be in the chair. You need to be the right. You have to have the right size chair, or else it can just make your condition worse. But the
Mm-hmm.
people at the National Council for the Disabled, they know exactly what they're doing. They would measure you, and then they would pick the right chair for you. So they picked the right chair for her, and
Mm-hmm.
to today, like today, Titi goes everywhere. Her whole life has changed. She's no longer confined to her house. She goes about, she meets people. And like this lady calls me almost every day just to say, Nixon, how are you doing? Nixon, thank you. Nixon, I love you. You
Wow.
know, so this is impacting people. And I'm telling you, like you rightfully say, imagine being stuck in a house all your life. You know, you get depressed, you get alone, you feel lonely, you don't feel a sense of worth. But now with Mobility Express, with ZMed, with Philips Agency, with TLC, we can come and pick you up from your house, take you to wherever you go. I don't need to tell you the number of weddings I've been to, the number of funerals I've been to, the number the number of grocery shopping I went to I've been to. And I want to say I almost forgot her. In fact, them. Julina. Okay. Julina, we cannot forget you. And of course, our dear friend up at our dear friend up at Mondido. Okay. You know who you are. She was our very, very first wheelchair client.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Miss Valsin, you are not forgotten. She was our very, very first wheelchair client, and she's been with us up to a day like today. And I'm talking about many years ago.
So for
Okay.
what I'm learning is not only that it is not only that you providing a service, but you have a personal relationship with these people
Oh
who
yes. Oh
transform.
yes. Yes, because you become part of their life because to them you kind of a rescuer. You're someone who come and made a difference in their life. Okay. So you become you become attached. I don't
Mm-hmm.
use the word attached in that way, but you become part of their family because you
Mm-hmm.
don't want them to meet them. You don't want to come to take them out. You don't want
Mm-hmm.
to come to take them to the doctor. You don't want to come to sometimes bring them their groceries. You don't want to take them to shopping, take them to the beach. So you become part of their lives, you know. And then in that way, you know, for example, when I first met Krishna, I love you, Krishna. When I first met Krishna, Krishna was like she's a I can do anything person, and
Mm-hmm.
people could be inspired by her. She's a wheelchair user, and Krishna tell you, if I want to do this, I will do it. And I remember the very first day I went to pick up Krishna, and then I got Krishna in the vehicle. And whilst we're in the vehicle, you could have sworn that we knew each other many, many years ago. And this is the first time I'm meeting this person.
Mm-hmm.
And we spoke and we had a conversation and we spoke. You could have sworn I'd known this lady for ages. And thereafter, every time she had to go somewhere, she would call me. And I always told her, you can call me anytime, morning, noon, and night. If you need to go somewhere, you need to do something, call me. And I got so close to her and her son that they were like family to me. So you become part of these people's lives. So then you know how important you are to them. They know how important they are to you. And that's how it works.
Wow, that's beautiful. I know it's almost 2 hours, but I wanted to ask you if there was one thing that you would make a plea for right now to help your business, what would that be?
Two things. First and foremost, I would like those people who work together with us to understand what we do and what we're going through. Okay? We're trying to make it perfect, we're trying to make it good. So if there are certain things that are not going right, you could let us know and then we can work on it to improve it. Okay? So my plea, first plea is to those people that I work with those people, our suppliers, the people that we transact with, those people that we are indebted to still, because I'll be honest with you, a lot of people are really understanding the place where we have our tires, the place where we took our fuel, the place where we buy our parts, the
Mm-hmm.
place where we have our rent. These people are very, very understanding. So I would like for the continued relationship with these people, for them to be understanding with what we do and what I am trying to achieve. I am in no way trying to be mean and horrible to anybody. It's just that sometimes the situation is beyond my control, and then I try my best to sort it. So I plea for their understanding and continued kindness and their assistance. My other plea is that whoever can assist us, you know, um, we help a lot of people. For example, use something simple as Pampers. There are some people who cannot afford Pampers. Okay, we go to their homes and they soil themselves. They don't have Pampers. Pampers. We use white sheets all the time to transport patients. The reason why we use the white sheet is more hygienic. Is there's anything on a white sheet, you can see it compared to a
Mm-hmm.
colored sheet.
Mm-hmm.
White is a color of purity. White is a color of calm. That's even why we wear a white shirt,
Mm-hmm.
another colored shirt. So it makes your patient calm. However, the hospital cannot always provide white sheets. For example, if you take a white sheet from Tapion, you have to return.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So the white sheets. Imagine, sis, I have to have a special machine to wash white sheets. I have to
I
buy. Exactly. So we have to wash the white sheets. We have to get detergent. We have to get bleach. We have to get sanitizer. We have to get gloves. We have to get disinfectant. Almost anything, even the oxygen tanks. We have to refill oxygen tanks. You go to Windward Island Gases and you have to refill oxygen tanks. We have to have bed paper. We have to have, you name it as far as the hospital is concerned. So it is a costly thing. We did start a GoFundMe account. I tell you, it's only 4 people who ever donated to that GoFundMe account. And
So
that time, it was supposed to a GoFundMe account to assist the people. For example, look at Titi, for example. Titi wants to build an access to her bathroom. She wants to build an access path. Oh, I forgot to mention Mr. Sepal. Thank you so much, Mr. Sepal. Mr. Sepal from Sepal Industries. Mr. Sepal, we called on Mr. Sepal to build a path because that's what I'm saying. We don't just take.
mm,
We are here to help wheelchair people. Sometimes they want to build a path, they're wheelchair users, they want to build a path to get more access to their homes. When the vehicle drops them off on the roadside, they need to build a concrete path to the home. You understand? So we're asking people, if you help us, we can then get those people who are builders and contractors to come and build a path. I once called on Mr. Sepal to build a path for me because there's a gentleman we used to transport to dialysis. And 3 times a week, you have to go and pick up this man on a stretcher, and the stretcher cannot access his home. So we asked Mr. Sepal, can you come and build a path so the stretcher can wheel to his house, and we can wheel him into the ambulance. In an instant, Mr. Sepal just told me where to do it, and we will do it. And Mr. Sepal sent his truck with concrete and built a path to help move the patient. So we're saying these kind of things are what we want to assist with. You understand? So all these little things make a difference. You understand? Titi wants to build a bathroom to an outside bathroom to her house because she cannot shower inside her home. We're asking, can we have people donate and we can help? The money does not come to me. Give it directly to Titi. Let her do it. Or directly to a contractor and say, look, go build a path for Titi. Go build a bathroom for Titi. You understand? These are the things that we want to do. We want to assist, but we cannot do it on our own. The
mm-hmm.
National Council for the Disabled is helping as much as they can, but
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to help as much as we can. We even donated at one time. We donated school books and stationery to the school kids of Donato. You
Mm.
understand? They needed the help. We do it. We get in touch with our partners in the States or in England to send us whatever they can, and then we donate it to them. We don't
So
go about we don't go about singing it and making a noise about it, but we do.
so let me ask you. So if you were to get donations from this side of the world, how will that process work? Will you be able to clear it and whatnot if we're able to just
Yes,
donations?
we have we have people like Prince Gilash, for example. All
Mm,
right. This man is a powerful man, jobless. Priscilla Ash has always told us whenever we want assistance in clearing goods or anything like that, we do that. We do get a little concession from the government that if we have medical supplies and so on, we can
Mm,
get a little concession on that as well. So as long as the supplies come, we can help. We can get all the help we can to clear it. I won't go without mentioning Mr. Richard Frederick, the parliamentary representative from Cashew Central. He
mm.
always tells us if we need any help with these things, he's always on hand to help. So we have people who can assist. It's just that we just need people to help, you know.
Mhm.
So
Okay. Well,
we're not only asking for financial assistance, we're asking for whatever you can donate. For example, if you have a wheelchair, if you have medical supplies, right now we need a stretcher. If we have people in the UK who can donate a stretcher to Mobility Express, you donate a stretcher, that stretcher can go in helping carry people to the hospital. A simple thing as that. I
mm,
mean, if you have a defibrillator, if you have medical equipment that you want to donate, for example, a blood pressure monitor, if you have an oxygen concentrator, for example, that you're no longer using and you want to donate an oxygen concentrator, you feel free to do so. Any medical supplies that you want to donate, we're happy to receive because especially nowadays, the young people that are smoking so much, I'm fearing that in years to come, the level of COPD in this country will probably skyrocket. And there are a lot of people who are going to be dependent on oxygen. And oxygen concentrators are the way forward because believe you me, you cannot survive on a tank of oxygen. You need an oxygen concentrator to help you breathe.
wow. It looks like we're gonna need to have another show then next.
Oh, yes. It's a lot because I can tell people they see Mobility Express and they just think, oh, ambulance. No, there's more to what we do. There's a
So,
lot more to what we do.
for the benefit of those who are just coming in or those who are going to be viewing this a little bit later, this is Nixon Benoit. He is my senior brother, and he is the owner of Mobility Express in St. Lucia. I'm going to put up that slide again one more time. I'm going to share my screen so you could see his business. And I have been running his information on the screen. So if anybody is willing to donate, wants to donate to his cause and to his business for the betterment of those who are less abled in St. Lucia, okay? Please, 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 please do the best that you can to help in that situation. And if there's anybody in the United States or in the UK who want to donate, Nick, I don't know what your point of contact is in the UK.
They can contact you. They can
Oh,
contact you, go through you, and
uh,
then we can take it from there. Because, like I said, sometimes the work gets hold of us, and we're not privy to
mm,
time. So
mm,
everything can go through you, and then get
mm,
it sorted out.
mm,
Even if for example, there's a used ambulance that they want to donate, that's gonna go a long way. There's medical
mm,
supplies they want to donate, or even a simple packet of white sheets. That
mm,
a packet of white sheets goes a long way because once the sheets are bloodied and soiled, because we do deal with a lot of blood. Once the sheets are bloodied and soiled, we can't use them anymore. So imagine we
yes,
receive a packet of a carton of white sheets. Oh, that's going to go a long way because
absolutely.
yeah. So whatever they can contact you. You get back in touch with us, and then we get it moved.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if you want to contact Mobility Express, it's 758-284 two sorry 8960. I have glasses and I still cannot see. Oh, you can 758-461-3447. The email address is mobilityexpressstlucia@gmail.com. And again, this is my elder brother. He is the owner, well, in business with somebody else too, with Mobility Express in St. Lucia. This, as you were listening, his services are very in high demand in St. Lucia. And although there are other people who are doing it, they too will need help. So please try to do your best with what you can to donate and to help them continue the work they are doing in St. Lucia, because As you can see, my friend Roseman Clary was on here, and then he used his service. And you know, Roseman has been on my show, and he's on a wheelchair. And we talk on us. We've been talking very frequently for the past couple of years, and I understand his situation, and I've been trying to help him. So it's good that I know that you have somebody that I hold dear to my heart, Nixon, which is Roseman Clary and his family. So thank you so much for that.
Oh
And
yes,
I'm going to do.
As a matter of fact, Roseman was the one who sorted out our radios. When we told him that, with the service that we provide, he was quick to
Mhm.
brought me into the world of how to use our radios and so on. And Roseman has always been a good friend. He's always been there.
Mhm.
There's nothing I would ask of him that he's not going to help us with. So thank you, Roseman. I appreciate that. Mm.
Yes. So Modest Glam Mafa says, I'm not sure she said, I'm proud of this young man. Yes, I'm proud of him too. I'm proud of him. That's my really, really good friend and sister. Yeah. So I've developed a family of up here as well, so
Mm.
she's family. But thank you. Let me see who we have on. So we have, oh my gosh, we have so many people. Linda Jackson, Kenneth Johnny, Letha Nix. Hi Letha, how are you? Letha was one of my nurses that took care of my daughter in the she in the hospital. I forgot. And Humble King is watching. Louis Bag, Edwin Montoot, Modest Glam, of course, Deborah Shivers, and for those of you who I cannot see, thank you so much for reading on Poetry and Perspective with Plastic. Listen, guys, sometimes when we don't know the full story of behind what the behind the scenes of what is going on, we may come to our own conclusions. We may have our own opinions, and it's okay to have your opinion. But when you hear the in-depth of operations of how things really work, then you come to appreciate what somebody is doing. Okay, as for me personally, I can say that for I could say that from my own experiences, because a lot of people see me come on this show and they see me, put my flyers and everything. It's a lot of work to get this done. It's a lot to get to the guests, to get the questions, to get at least a bio, and to get on just to the trial run and everything. And so it's really hard work behind the scenes though, no matter what business you're doing. As long as you're not working for some, the easiest thing to do for me is to be working for somebody, going on a 9 to 5 job. But when you have your own business, that takes on a different scope of magnitude of things, on its own. So I would implore you guys to support, and if you have anything you want to donate to his service, to his ambulatory service, please, you all know how to reach me. Okay, I say my number all the time, 404-452-8674. You can reach me on my email, missplusseed@gmail.com, or just send me a message on Messenger. Okay. And Martha said, St. Lucia desperately needs this service he provides. And Roseman said, you are welcome, Nixon. I will do it again. If ever you need my help, please call me. So, yes. So, thank you so much. And spread the words. Share this live, guys. I cannot say it enough. Share my lives. I don't come here and cause Roro. I'm not a Rorocious person. I'm a very laid back. I'm a jovial person. I like to laugh. I like to dance. Okay. But when it comes to the down to business, I take care of business, and I bring the information, and I bring what the public needs. Okay, the issues that really matter to other people, and that can make a difference in somebody else's life, that can empower somebody and inspire them to do better. So please, his information is on the screen. Please reach out to him in St. Lucia, and if you're up here and you want to donate, reach me, Cindy Placid, okay? The hostess of Poetry and Perspective with Placid. Reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to get the donations for him. Medical, anything medical has to do with medical, right, Nix?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right.
It will be greatly appreciated. Yeah,
Any
and
last
I
words?
want to also mention that it's not only just St. Lucia, because there are a number of people in the diaspora who has family members in St. Lucia, and they would
Mhm.
just call from the States, from the UK, and say, "Look, I've got my family member who has to go to the hospital. They have a hospital appointment. Nixon, can you sort it?" And
Mm-hmm.
then we on our own, we go, we pick. They don't need to be there, so we go
Mm-hmm.
on, we pick them up, we take them to the hospital and everything else, and then they know that their family members are in good hands. Okay.
Yes.
We also do medical evacuations. For example, if your family member is at the hospital and then they need to be flown back home to the States or to the UK or to Martinique, we provide medical evacuation facility as well. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot that we do. So I want people to think that, we're not just sitting there. We are not just, there's a lot that we do, and then we do it with our passion. We do it with compassion and confidentiality, and then we take pride in what we do. So we this, as you did mention a word earlier on, sis, and that is so spot on. It's the passion. Okay, this is my dream. This is my baby, and then I wake up every morning, whether I'm tired or not, whether it's raining, whether it's whatever, to go out there and to do this because I love what I do. And then I want people to understand that, and I want people to understand that. Look, I'm not here to make fame or to be rich overnight or anything like that. Because believe you me, the army is taking care of me.
Mm-hmm.
The army looks after me up to a day like today. So
Mm-hmm.
if it was to be rich, I would just stay, do nothing, and then just be a bum and get rich. But no, I spend my time in the army. The army trained me. And for those who may think that I'm not qualified to do what I am doing, the certificates are there, the qualifications are there, the people who know about it, they're there. Ask them. And
You
when you want a
know,
copy of my certificate, come to me and ask me.
as
Okay?
you were talking there, your eyes glow up like mom's eyes.
Yeah, because some people are going around trying to
Yeah.
spread malicious rumors that we are not qualified to do what we're doing. And that
Mm-hmm.
is just because that's just being malicious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's being malicious, and that's being, pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? All
Next,
right?
our mother would have been so proud of you.
And
Mom
like I said, I wish she was here. Honestly, I just wish
would
she
have
was
been
here.
so proud of you.
I wish she was here. Honestly, I miss her. I miss her to the max. And I think if she was here, things would have been a bit different for us as well. I think this business would probably even be further. So I
Yes.
do miss her, and then I use her influence, her dedication. Because I remember when I went to my mom and I said, "Mom, I want to go to St. Mary's College." Mom says, "But you are at secondary school already. Why do you want to transfer to St. Mary's College?" I was at before comprehensive secondary.
Mm.
And she said, "You want to go to college? You want to go to MLK College?"
Exactly. Yeah, saying that. You see this right here? You remember this? You remember this?
Yes, vividly, vividly.
I
Yes.
carry this everywhere I go. Any show that I have, I carry it because that is what I have of her.
Mm.
That is what, and then wherever I'm going to my congregation meetings, wherever I'm going, this goes with me. When I'm having a show, and I say, "Oh my gosh, my brother's coming! I gotta wait today." But Nixon, thank you so much for being here. We could stay on and talk about so many things, and probably later we will have you come back again and tell us a little bit more, and maybe get some experiences from some people who have,
I will do.
used
I
your
will
service.
do.
I would love to do that.
I will do. I'll be more than happy to come back, and
Mhm.
then I will be more than happy to come back to give a progress report on how we're doing and how we're progressing,
Mhm.
and then to let people know that the service is available. We can
Mhm.
be reached at any time, and then we
Mhm.
try our best to improve and make the service better for everyone.
Mhm.
Okay. So Mobility Express, ZMed, TLC, Philip, we are all here to do what is best for everyone. The fire service are doing their utmost. They are working very hard, and we are there to support them in every way that we can. So we want all stakeholders to come on board and to assist us and to make this a better healthcare service for the people of St. Lucia and beyond, because it is needed. People are suffering. People are dying. People need healthcare. The same monies we can pump into jars, carnival, and everything else, we can pump into the healthcare. We need to take care of
Absolutely.
our people. We need to take
Absolutely.
care of our people. They've worked hard to contribute to our economy. Let's work hard to look after them. Okay?
And
St. Lucia needs. Yeah.
Yes, and Nixon, I have a passion for those with a different ability.
Oh, when I started, yeah, when I first started, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you know, we take wheelchair users for granted. Since one of the things that made me go into wheelchair transportation also is because when I got injured in the army, I got injured in the army, and then I had to do an operation on both my knees. It's a miracle that I'm even walking right now. But the
Mm-hmm.
healthcare in the UK is amazing. I was
Mm-hmm.
in a wheelchair for 8 weeks. Okay, I
Wow.
don't go bragging it and telling people about it, but I was after my surgery, I was in a wheelchair for 8 weeks. And sis, it is not easy. Sapa easy.
Wow.
People see other people with wheelchair users because that chair becomes part of your anatomy. You're not confined to it, but it is part of your anatomy. And then you go to bed. As soon as you wake up, you need to go to your kitchen. You jump into the chair, you go to your kitchen, you go to the balcony. Then when you're ready to go somewhere, you jump in your chair, you go out, and then you wheel yourself around. Sometimes, like I said before, there were not even ramps around castries or paths in castries for you to move around your chair. Somebody had to be pushing you, lifting you, turning you. And then, it is difficult. But some people have adapted, they've come a long way to utilizing this chair and utilizing it with pride, with honor. And I think people just respect someone who's in a wheelchair. Respect them. You don't always have to assist them because they're not asking you for your assistance. They're asking
That's
you for some courtesy and respect. That's what they're asking you. They're not asking you for help. You
next.
understand? They want you to respect them. You see them coming, make way for them. Assist them when necessary. And respect the fact that they are wheelchair users, but they're not all cripples because that's what we used to think. You're
Yeah.
cripple. No, they're
Yeah.
human beings. They're human
Yes.
beings. You
Yeah. Wow.
understand? And they want to enjoy their lives as much as we do because they want to go to the beach. They want to go swimming. They want to go to the party. I once had one from the UK. He came down. He was dancing. He went to Grozile Friday night dancing. You understand? They're human beings. So we need to treat them with that courtesy, that respect, and do what we can to assist them. They
Mm,
just built a new local facility up the Mon. I was
mm.
so happy to see that they put wheelchair access to that place. Because when the tourists come, now the tourists can come off the vehicle and enjoy the view like everybody else. So
Nixon,
thanks to them.
one of the things you said that really caught me off guard was the fact that you said that when people come off, I mean, what did you say was the ship or
Yeah,
whatever?
the cruise ship. Yeah,
They need wheelchair assistance. So those that
yeah.
come on wheelchairs, they need wheelchair assistance. And I think that that should be really because that in itself, like you said, is part of the tourism industry. So that should be really a driving force to for the government to use that as a driving force to help, you know, in that regard, so that it could, boost tourism in one way or the other. I
So
don't
that's
even
what I
say.
was saying because before our services,
Mhm.
people who are wheelchair users who were on the cruise ship, because nowadays there's a lot of people like that. The wheelchair users are no longer confined to their homes. Wheelchair users want to come out and have a normal life. They are entitled to a normal life. So if they want to go on a cruise, they go on a cruise. You
Mhm.
understand? Like normal people, because they are normal people. So
Yes.
they go on a cruise. But when they get to Point Seraphine and they come off the ship, they want to go see the rest of the island. I don't want to just be confined to the city. I want to see the driving volcano. I want to see the pitons. I want to see
Mhm.
how the locals live. I want to go drink a jelly coconut. I want to see how bananas are grown because most people, I will tell you, a lot of people who live abroad do not know how bananas are grown. So that you take them down to Roseau to see how bananas are grown, and that in itself is a life experience for them. They never forget it. So what we're saying is we want to make the government aware that we are providing a service that helps greatly as far as tourism is concerned. We take them to see Pigeon Island, we take them to the beach, we take them everywhere. The wheelchair users are tourists as well. So we are doing our part to help tourism. So
Wow.
what are you doing? What are you doing for us?
True. Nixon, I know we passed our time and we could go on all night, but
Then we can go on forever.
yeah, but I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your service, first in the army and then in St. Lucia for what you're doing. Because I'm thinking about life up here in the United States. We call an ambulance, and then sometimes we take these things for granted when we up here. You call 911, the fire service is gonna come, ambulance is gonna come, maybe two or three gonna come before, at one time, And to think that in St. Lucia, something so vitally needed in St. Lucia is a scarcity. And it is,
Mhm.
I would say it is struggling.
Mhm.
So
Because sometimes you call fire service, and like I said, they're busy. They're dealing with a road traffic accident. They're dealing with a gunshot wound. They're dealing with some child who swallowed a toy. They're dealing with something, and then there's somebody who has a tummy ache. A painful painful situation as far like abdominal pain. Abdominal pain can mean so many things.
mhm.
Chest pain can mean so many things, and we take these things for granted. So they call the ambulance service, and you call fire service, and fire service everywhere. We don't have an ambulance right now, or we're gonna be with you in the next 2 hours. You understand?
Ukanita
Hmm?
mon.
Huh? Then comes, okay, the guy at fire service tells you, well, okay, here's a number you can call. They either give you ZMed's number or they give you Mobility Express's number. They call us, we can deal with the situation, we deal with the situation, we take the patient to the hospital. That's one less thing fire service has to deal with.
That's true.
You
And I
understand?
applaud the fire service in St. Lucia
Mm,
because based on
exactly.
what
Oh,
you're saying,
these guys work hard, sis. These guys work hard. They
and
work hard.
I would
Mm,
love for me to bring somebody from the fire service in St. Lucia on my show to
that
hear
would
how
be
things
good.
are running. Yes,
Mhm.
I would love that.
Well,
But next,
I will speak to one for you and see if he agrees.
please do. But Nixon, we are out of time and we are above and
Mhm.
way beyond time. But thank you so much for your presence here. Thank you for making me pull your leg. Come on, talk to your sister.
No,
Your sister is
thank you,
promoting everybody. Okay?
thank,
Listen, your sister
thank
is
you as
promoting
well.
everybody. And
Thank you
you
as
give me
well,
the service.
sis. Thank you as well, sis. Thank you as well. It's been an honor and privilege, and I want to thank your viewers and your listeners as well. They've played a great part as well. So I really appreciate them for being part of the live, and the continued support that they give you because it means a lot. So keep doing the good job that you do. You reach a lot of people more than you think. I don't write poetry anymore, unfortunately, so I cannot come on your poetry program. But it's been an honor to come here and to let people know what we do, and to also let people know that there are wheelchair users that can really help use your help. There are people who are at hospital as well that can really use your help. And of course, my team and my staff, we would appreciate any assistance that can be given to make our lives a lot easier. Something as simple as a stair climber. You hook it up to the wheelchair and it climbs the steps. If I can get my hands on one of these things, it saves my back. You
Mhm.
understand? So there's simple little things that can help. So anything that you can do to help will be greatly appreciated. So
Thank
thank
you.
you again, sis. And God bless the work that you're doing. God bless you.
Thank you so much, my dear brother. Again, before we leave, we were speaking to Nixon Benoit. He is the owner of Mobility Express in St. Lucia Ambulance Service, and he's 24 hours round the clock. I'm just like in awe that he spent so much time on my life with me. But thank you. We needed that time, and I'm glad that we were able to talk about mom. We were able to, just feel free on it because sometimes,
She was my inspiration. She
yeah.
herself, Jason,
Mhm,
Kieran, they were my inspiration. When I saw what they went through, I
mhm.
realized that I can help people as well because they went through a lot. And then their passing has taught me a lot of lessons in life as well, to look after myself and
Mhm.
to look after others.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that is commendable. So thank you so much. Listen, guys,
All the best.
you've been
And
watching.
thanks again.
You've been watching.
Love you loads.
I just want to say this. You've been watching Poetry and Perspective with Placide. We went over time today, but it was necessary. Help where you can and allow God to bless you. Have a good night. Never let failure be your finality. There are no tap outs in life. And if you're gonna fall on your back, because as long as you can look up, guess what? You can get up. Never let failure be the place that you stay. Rise to your own prosperity, whatever that is for you, and don't you ever give up, because the,
Never give up.
there are too many scholars in the cemetery. Use your talent for good. I love you guys. Have a good night, my dear brother. I love you. Stay on after the live because I
Bye.
just want to chat with you a little bit. So have a good night, risers. Good night.